friends and travelers. It's Lisa with Someday Soon Travel. I'm here with my husband Mike in beautiful Vienna. It is gorgeous outside. We're currently standing in front of the Hofburg Palace, and we're going to spend the next 3 days exploring Vienna. I hope you'll come along and join us. We have made it to Vollpension Cafe, and we're going to go in and take in the cafe culture for the first time on our trip to Vienna. What is so interesting about Vollpension is it is run by grandmas and grandpas. So we just finished up at Vollpension and it was so charming inside. We enjoyed everything we had to eat. The tea was delicious. We had the homemade lemonade and that was wonderful. Now, what you do need to know, have reservations. Reservations are the key to everything. These cafes, they're very busy. You can wait. Sometimes you might have an hour wait. We luckily got to go right in. However, we had a very limited time because there was reservations beginning at 11 o'clock. So we had to rush through our breakfast a little bit.
But it was delicious.
Yes, delicious, definitely. Second thing to know, service is not going to be the friendliest. So make sure you know what it is you want. Be clear, be concise. I think they appreciate that more than anything. We have found our way to the Schönbrunn Palace here in Vienna. It's a beautiful day and it was the perfect time to explore the grounds. It is a bit windy though, so that was interesting to say the least. A lot of the pathways through the palace grounds are made of gravel, so at times there was some dust, but it didn't ruin anything. The sun was shining and it still made for a great day. So the palace has over 1,400 rooms and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. About 40 rooms are open to the public, but we did the apartment tour, which comes with the Vienna Pass, which allowed us access to 4 rooms, including some pretty historical spaces. After our palace tour, we headed over to the Carriage House Museum, which is something we fell in love with while in London last year. The ornate carriages and the history behind them just fascinates us. after the Carriage House Museum, it was time for a little exercise, and by a little, I mean a lot. We decided to climb uphill to see the Gloriette. The Gloriette was a symbol of status for the Habsburgs. It was a place where they could come, sit outside, take in the views of Vienna, and enjoy a lovely meal. It's now a cafe. The line was a little bit too long for us today, but it was well worth it. The view of Vienna was stunning. Now, so let's talk about that climb for a second, because this will matter to you as a traveler here in Vienna. There are switchbacks taking you up, and you have about 2.5 full switchbacks, and they're fairly steep. Along the switchbacks, you do have paths that go directly uphill that lead you to the top, but again, it's very steep. So keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to use hiking poles or walking sticks if that's what you need to get to the top. We have made our way into the Schönbrunn Zoo, which was founded in 1752 by Emperor Franz I. He was the spouse of Empress Maria Theresa. The zoo is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is the oldest in the world, containing over 700 species of animals, and we are here for one, the giant panda. So we made it to the panda house. Are you seeing this? The enclosure for the giant pandas is currently being rebuilt, and a new pair is going to arrive in 2025. I am heartbroken. Here's me, walking away sadly. So the zoo was a bust for us, but we've come upon the Pullman House, which, as I just told my husband, is basically Florida. It's all palm trees and tropical plants. But it's absolutely stunning. Day 2 of this vlog. It's technically our 3rd day here in Vienna, and it is a work day for me today, and that includes having lunch at this amazing restaurant, the Bank Brasserie and Bar, which is located inside the Park Hyatt here in Vienna. All right, work is over for the day. That means it's date night in Vienna. We are headed to the ever popular Figlmüller for schnitzel and fixings.
Dinner is served, and what we ordered was the original pork schnitzel, which always traditionally had to be bigger than your plate, which they've still kind of kept to that. And then we have the potato salad with field salad on top. So we're gonna dig in and see how it tastes.
Wow, looks like you liked your dinner, Mike. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, actually, I did like it a lot. The pork was tremendous, and I couldn't finish the whole thing, obviously, but I did a good job on it because it was very good, and it was a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be heavy, but it's very light. The potato salad I thought was good. The jam, lingonberry jam, actually adds a nice little flavor to it. So I suggest that you get that along with it. But the potatoes were very good. I just couldn't eat any more. So, yeah, I think it was a score.
Okay, so I really liked it. It was delicious. I loved the potato salad. It had vinegar in it, and it was just It was just so delicious. It had such a lovely flavor to it. It was a cold potato salad, so it's not warm. I think in some ways I actually liked that more than I liked the pork schnitzel. I did enjoy the pork schnitzel a lot, and I would definitely get it again. I wouldn't hesitate to do that. It was just way too much food for me. So I think if ideally for me, if I was to do it again, I would like to split it with someone. And I definitely think both Mike and I could have split one potato salad. But otherwise, Figlmüller gets thumbs up from me, and I would come back here again, and I would recommend it for all of you. Okay, so we made it to the Orangerie at Schönbrunn Palace, and we are going to enjoy a concert with Strauss and Mozart, and I believe there's going to be some singers, so we're very excited about that. It'll be a great finale to our date night, but first I want to tell you a little story. Mike and I got lost. We decided instead of spending $28 on another taxi to get us here, because that's another story, we would go ahead and purchase the 7-day pass for public transportation, which seemed to work flawlessly, except that we went to the wrong station. And so we learned a few things about navigating the subway, but now we feel like we're all set. So we're going to finish up date night, we're going to enjoy this concert, and we will let you know what we think of it. And if you're lucky, your husband will fan you because it's a little warm in here. We just came out of the concert and it was so entertaining. It was an 8-piece orchestra. There was 3 violinists, a cellist, a pianist, a flautist, a clarinetist, and a bass player. It was quite entertaining, and the flautist also played the piccolo towards the end, which was a lovely sound to hear. There was also 2 singers, which were quite entertaining. Their voices and their range was amazing. And one of the best parts was the audience interaction. They got you clapping. They used their body language for some humor. It was quite entertaining. Here's a few tips for you if you're going to go and see one of the concerts here at the Orangerie. It is €1 per person to check your items. Actually, it might be €1 per item that you're checking. So for us, we each had a coat, and it was €2. They do take tips as well, but it's not necessary. Also, you'll want to make your reservations in advance, and you can do that online. It's relatively easy to do. Okay, so we're here in the Schönbrunn subway station. Well, really, it's a train station, I guess, because it's above ground. But I wanted to share the story about what happened to us yesterday and what we discovered today. It was today when we arrived here at the train station that it actually became humorous. So yesterday, over to Schönbrunn Palace, we took the hop-on, hop-off bus, and we never really paid attention to what time the last bus left the palace. We knew that it ran till 6 o'clock, so we assumed there'd be one leaving, 5:30, 5:45, something along those lines. Well, of course, we get there to discover that the last bus was actually at 4:25, which is an hour and 35 minutes before the hop-on, hop-off ends for the day. So we were tired. We had walked 19,000 steps at that point, and we just were done. So Mike called a Bolt. He called a Bolt taxi, and we took it directly back to the hotel. And that cost us, I think, around $28. So we're €28, so probably more like $32 right now. Anyhow, so this is where it gets funny. So we get here tonight to go to the concert, and we get off the train station, and we walk out and discover we are literally feet from where we hopped into the taxi. We never realized that right behind us, and by right behind us, I mean 10 to 20 feet behind us, was the train station that would have taken us right back to our hotel for a matter of a couple dollars. So the lesson learned here is learn the public transportation. It's easy, it's convenient, and it's cost efficient.
I'm using this app called Vean Mobile, and right now we have to change trains about 2 times, but it's going to get us to the closest station to the hotel, which is only about a 7-minute walk away. This is 400 meters, which is about a quarter of a mile. So, yeah, that's it.
Look at the name. Okay, so we've taken 2 of 3 trains and we are now waiting for the 3rd train. And one thing I wanted to point out is these train stations are so clean in comparison to, say, New York City. So here's a tip for you. When you're coming down these escalators or going up them, make sure you stand right so that others can walk on the left. We just got off our 3rd and final train and we're getting ready to walk back to our hotel, but I wanted to point out this lit up blue and white letter U sign. That is your symbol for where the train station is located. So just look for those when you're walking around Vienna. It is a cool and rainy night. We're going to see what happens as we walk back. Hopefully it's a short walk. Good morning, friends and travelers. It's day 3 of our trip here in Vienna. It's our final day of playing tourist, at least for me. I start working tomorrow and we'll be working the rest of the week. So what are we doing today? Well, our first stop is right behind me at the Hofburg Palace. Within the palace grounds are multiple sites, including the Spanish riding school, which opened in 1735. And what do they specialize in? Well, the classical training of Lippenzahner horses. Let's go see if we can get a ticket to the show. We just finished taking in the training session at the Spanish riding school. It was quite entertaining, and I highly recommend it if you're here visiting Vienna. The training sessions occur Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. And if you have the Vienna Pass, you do get in free, but be aware it's standing room only and there's no ability to upgrade your ticket. If you want to purchase a seat, you can do so, and there's multiple price points for that. Be aware that the very best seats in the house are at the far end of the arena, and they're a nice plush red velvet seat. One of my favorite parts of viewing the training session was learning more details about the riders and the horses. Unfortunately, we're not able to take any photographs or video while the horses are in the arena, so I don't have that to share with you, but I can share a few facts that I learned today. And my favorite was that the horses range in age from 6 to 19, or at least the horses that were here today rehearsing. What was fun to watch was there was a 6-year-old horse that apparently has a quite rambunctious spirit, and when he first arrived at the school, they weren't sure if they were going to be able to use him. His trainer said, no, he's highly trainable, I'm going to work with him. Well, he was in the arena today and he wanted to dance to the beat of his own drum, but his trainer handled him beautifully, and together they worked as a flawless team. There's also 2 types of trainers. There's an apprentice and the more experienced trainer. And something that I found fascinating was there is no manual that teaches these trainers how to train these beautiful horses. In fact, all of the information is passed down from the experienced trainers to the apprentice. And for over 400 years, only males were allowed to be trainers at the Spanish riding school. But I believe around 2008, females were welcome, as well as non-Austrian citizens. And one of the first 2 female trainers was an American. The Sisi Museum was everything we hoped it would be. Now it's time for lunch. Our stop for lunch today is Ribs of Vienna. It's number 5 on TripAdvisor. I do recommend reservations. It tends to fill up weeks in advance.
We're in the Ribs of Vienna, and it's a very cute restaurant. It is looks like it's been built into an old bomb shelter, but it's decorated very nice. And we ordered ribs for 2, so we're gonna see what it looks like when it comes out.
Our ribs have come. We have garlic, original, Provence, chili, oh nope, Diablo, and Mexican. And then we have 3 dipping sauces, coleslaw, green beans, and garlic bread. Our bellies are full after eating at the House of Ribs, and we have made it to our 4th stop of the day, St. Stephen's. We have taken an elevator up to the top of the North Tower so we can have a good look at not only the skyline of Vienna, but the beautiful roof of the St. Stephen's Church. We have made our way down on a lovely walk this afternoon, and we're going to stop here for stop number 5 of the day at Gerstner Hofzuckerbacher. I've lost track of what number we're on today. I'm going to take a guess that it's number 6. We're currently halfway through, but we're doing the Rick Steves Ringstrasse Tram Tour. So you simply hop on at the Opera House. It begins and ends there with tram number 2, and you'll make a connection in Swedenplatz to tram number 1, which is what we're waiting on now. It's a great opportunity to see the outer circle of the historical area as well as some historical sites along the way. Just got off of the tram tour and I want to share a few tips for you to make it successful. Ours was a little bit rough. Now, we love a Rick Steves audio tour when we travel. The walking tours are one of the #1 thing we do when we arrive in a new city. It helps us to get the lay of the land. Where we went wrong today is the time of day we picked to do the tram tour. If you're going to do the Ringstrasse Tram Tour, I highly recommend doing it during the day, when there's less people who are using the trams to commute. Our trams were quite full. It was hard to get a seat, much less see anything out of the window because there were so many people on board the tram. That's the first tip. The second tip is be prepared. We were not as prepared as we thought we were. We should have had our earbuds in, hooked up to the phone, and the track pulled up before we even got on the tram. If we're honest with you, we missed the first 5 stops of the audio recording because we were just trying to orient ourselves and figure out where we were. So I highly recommend the Rick Steves audio tours, but this time we just bombed it. We didn't do a very good job. Okay, so before we head back to the hotel and call it the end of our 3-day experience, we're stopping here at Café Demel for Kaiserschmarrn. It is the best dessert we have discovered. Basically, it's torn pancakes with like a plum sauce. And here at Café Demel, they have a walk-up window where you can walk up and pick it up. Just get a large.
Yes.
Can't wait to dive in. It's gonna be delicious. Well, I guess I told a lie because we decided to make one more stop at the Bank Brasserie and Bar for a cocktail before we headed to our room and call it a night. Well, friends and travelers, it's time for us to move on to our next adventure. I hope you enjoyed spending the last 3 days with us here in beautiful Vienna. Now, our trip is not over yet. We have 2 more weeks scheduled here in Eastern Europe. So I hope you'll consider liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell to follow along with our journey. As always, if I can help you with your travel plans, all of my contact information is in the description below. It's been great sharing this adventure with you. Have a great day.